ladies and gentlemen, this interview is brought to you by EmployeeEscapePlan.com. And if you are a startup entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur who's growing, attempting, or in the pursuit of reaching 6 figures or more, 7 figures, Mr. Joe Nicasio is a business problem-solving expert, great at creating marketing solutions to have you succeed, be more prosperous, and impact more people. And I highly recommend his program, 3-month program, EmployeeEscapePlan.com, 0 to cash flow in 90 days if you're starting a new business, or if you want to do the marketing fundamentals and produce more results, he does that as well. I highly recommend it. Joe Nicasio, EmployeeEscapePlan.com. Let him know Chris sent you. Go talk to him. He's a great guy, full of wisdom. Do it. For now, at the age of 54, Tim lost a job of 15 years with a phone call. It would be almost 2 years before he worked again, but he never suffered the depression or downtimes the experts say he should have. He began asking himself, why not? And realized that the materials he'd been consuming since he was much younger had been programming his mind to have a different perspective on life. That perspective has saved him from immeasurable amounts of stress, anxiety, and grief. Focusing on coping with life transitions, he now shares those ideas with others who struggle with those feelings and are ready to begin the process of overcoming the overwhelm and beginning to breathe again. Tim, you ready to rock this? Let's do it. Awesome. You're now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Glad
you.
to be here.
Yes. Round 2, right? This is numero
It
dos?
is.
Yes.
It is.
Yes. We're going to have fun, man.
Gotta up my game, I guess.
Yeah, you know it. You know it. Hey, dude. Yeah, I came on your interview. I delivered some fire. Now now the what is it? Not serve, but the volley is yours. The ball's in your court, Tim.
Sure. Cool. I'm ready. Where do you want to go?
Cool. We're gonna have fun, man. And really thank you for coming on again.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to be
Sharing your
here.
wisdom. You're launching your podcast right now. I'm sure we'll get into that, what that's all about. Before we get there, the theme of today is winning the game of life. And I'm curious, how has this mindset or this phrase or this paradigm showed up for you? Has it been something you adopted? Has it been something that you never really played that mindset or used that paradigm? Or how did you relate to winning the game of life?
That's a good question. I think it has not been something that's been, I think it's one of those phrases that I think I didn't relate to all that well. You hear something like that, and sometimes you tend to think, well, that's great for people who are doing it,
right?
But I don't know how that applies to me. I don't know how to win the game of life. What does that mean? But I think in very recent months, it's becoming more of a tangible concept. I had not been putting any thought into it, but as you bring it up, it's kind of. Things have changed for me drastically in the last few months, and it's because of not a different perspective. Things that have happened have changed my perspective, but that happened because I did something new, and stretched myself a little bit, stuck a toe outside the comfort zone, and man, all kinds of things have happened. So, yeah, there we are.
Awesome. Here we are.
So,
Beautiful. So what do you think has been changing over the last couple months? Like, what about winning the game of life have you been embodying and living?
Well, I'm an introverted guy, generally speaking. I don't need to get out and about and socialize, every other day. And I'm perfectly happy to stay home and read or whatever, spend time alone. My wife is on the other end of the spectrum. If she's not out socializing, 3 times a week, she's unhappy. But I took a step outside of that sort of just hanging out here and being okay, and went out and decided to participate a little more in an event and a little more than I normally would have. And I met people and had opportunities come, and as long as you follow up on them when they show up, things keep coming. and that's why I'm doing the podcast, and it's why you and I are talking in the first place. So, and I see things happening, and I'm really excited. I got an email yesterday. I think we may be interviewing Greg Reed.
Wow.
So yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know, he's the new Napoleon Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And so my fingers are crossed. It looks very, very positive. I'm kind of kicking myself for saying anything about it right now,
Right.
but yeah, I'm excited about it. So, but if it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't reached out to him. So, you just have to start. You got to do something new, and man, it's amazing how quickly a lot of things can turn around.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. So speaking of which, you're launching this new podcast. Tell us about the universe between your ears and all that's coming with it, and why you're excited about it, what your intention is, all that good stuff.
Well, 42 different ways I want to go with this answer all at once. The foundation of this is the idea that I'm more and more coming to believe is what the reality is, right? Is that there is nothing out here. You and I don't truly exist we don't exist in a physical form. Nothing is physical. There is only energy. And the realities that we experience as physical are created by us, right? We all have a universe between our ears, and it doesn't exist out there. It only exists in here, and it's kind of it's an esoteric sort of woo-woo maybe kind of idea, but the podcast is me and my co-hosts. We're having conversations with people that have something to say about how you can use perspective, use your mindset to improve your life. Right? Well, if that's a possibility, where is it coming from? How do you bring something into your mind that doesn't already exist in there somehow? And so it's stuff that if you get worried about it, things will keep you up at night. But it's an interesting thing, because if you wrap your mind around it and you come to that realization that, God, I'm creating all of this. It's great. It's exciting. It's like, man, if I'm really doing this, then the potential for what I can do or be or have is unlimited.
Yeah.
Right. The flip side of that coin is that it's all on me, man. It's all my responsibility. And that's a scary thing for people. So, because I think it's because, whether they're aware of it or not, I think it's just because if you accept the responsibility for who you are, where you are, what you are today, and then it stays with you into tomorrow and the next day, then if you don't like it, there's nobody else to point at. There's nowhere to shift blame, although there really shouldn't be any blame, but there's nowhere to escape. And a lot of people don't want to have to live up to, what's possible.
What's interesting, a topic and a perspective that's been coming up a lot for me recently is parenting, right? And whether you are a parent of a kid, a child, or not, we're all parents of something, whether that's parents and nurturers. I think of parent, I think of nurturing, I think of responsibility, and being empowered by these things, not disempowered. A lot of people think of responsibility like heavy. It's like, no, responsibility is freeing. Responsibility is freedom if you apply it appropriately. But the parenting and the nurturing and the responsibility, that comes with nurturing your dreams, applying this parenting to our dreams, to our relationships. I'm parenting this relationship to build it up to be a better relationship, nurturing this relationship, being responsible for this relationship. If we see ourselves as parents more often, then we can create some pretty cool results because we take responsibility for that. We take responsibility for the shape and the how it looks. And is this relationship suffering? Is it in the garbage? Is it sucky? Okay, then we can be responsible for that, and we can parent that relationship back to life. Is our child sucking and not being a great child, and like not having a good time in life? Well, then we can parent and be responsible for that child to be more empowered and positive and grateful and all these kinds of things. So I think a lot of people are not willing to be the parents of their life because there's a lot of shame and guilt and resentment from their parents about how they thought about their parents or what happened, etc. And so much of the time people aren't able to forgive and process those emotions and just release.
Yeah. And this is something that I write about and talk about in the arena of spiritual growth and self enlightenment, self growth, personal growth. There is no room for guilt, and there's no room for blame. They don't serve you.
Nope.
Right? If you're suffering today because you're beating yourself up over something about a relationship or financial issues or bad decision you made, if you want to look at it in terms of penalties and punishments, you've already paid you've done your time. You're already gone through the pain. You're hurting already. Mm-hmm. So in terms of growth, it doesn't serve you to hang on to that. You've got to let that be and say, okay, I've paid the price. Yeah. Where do I want to go? Mm-hmm. What do I want to do instead? Mm. Right? Because our realities are about as miserable or as fabulous as we want them to be.
Yes.
Right. It's all just depending on what we want to focus on. And the reality is that we are creating in our mind. We don't even have to think about it. We're creating right now, 24/7, every day of the week. You don't have to be awake. You are creating your reality. What do you want to create? What do you want to create? What do you want to be doing tomorrow? And the answer to that is what you want to start thinking about. It's that simple because now, if we go in really literal terms, somebody says, okay, Tim, well, I want to be on the beach in Cancun tomorrow. Mm-hmm. How's that going to happen? I don't know. Right? Maybe it won't.
Yeah,
but
I think the
maybe what'll happen
attached.
Yeah, but maybe what'll happen is you'll go to bed tonight and tomorrow morning the phone's going to ring and it's a friend of yours going, I was going to Cancun and then my friend bailed on me. I got this ticket. Can you be at the airport in an hour? It happens.
Yep.
It happens. So our job is to set intentions. Our job is to put it out there and then get the hell out of the way and let it happen. Yeah. And look for the opportunities and be ready to say yes to opportunities and things that come along because they will. Not everything is perfect, not everything is the right opportunity, but things start to happen once we set a desire for something.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
What do you want to create?
It's beautiful. So why? I was gonna say, why do people stay in their own way? Stay stuck in their own way. Let's explore that.
That's programming.
Yeah.
That's what we're taught. From the time you're a little kid and you can understand mom saying, no, don't do that. Right. And she means well, and she's saving you from burning your hand on the stove. And she's, saving you from falling into the pool when you can't swim. And, but that stuff, it never stops. Right. And mom is programmed to say no.
Right.
Mom is programmed to look out for danger. And so she's forever telling you, no, be careful. No, don't do that. No, don't step outside of your comfort zone. No, don't jump off of that because you might fall down. Don't ride your bike off of the curb. even though you want to be a BMX rider, do it because you could get hurt.
How do we get out of the way of the universe giving us gifts? How do we effectively receive from the universe?
Be ready to look for things coming to you. Be ready to recognize that things are coming. An example that I like to use is, there are people out there, I'll just put it this way, who would say, oh, the law of attraction is a bunch of crap, doesn't work, right? And the reality is they're proving it for themselves.
Right.
But if you can get somebody like that who says, I'm willing to test it out, prove it to me. Mm-hmm. Let's say it's your birthday coming up in 30 days and you want a new Corvette, shiny red Corvette. You don't have the money to buy it yourself. You don't have any rich relatives that are just suddenly going to drop one on you, but you're going to challenge this law of attraction idea and put it out there. I want a new Corvette. 30 days comes down the road. Your birthday comes, nothing has happened. Birthday party, somebody hands you a gift. You open it up and it's a plastic model of a red Corvette. Right? Now, was that what you were asking for? No. Is that evidence that the universe is trying to give it to you? Oh my God, yes. So instead of looking at that and go, yeah,
it's not
I wanted
enough.
The real thing. It's not enough. Exactly. Hello.
Yeah.
You're not in the practice of asking for what you truly want. And still, this was delivered to you. That you have to be ready to recognize things like that as evidence that something's happening.
I really like what you said about not in the practice of asking, asking for what we really want. And I think that's something I know I've been challenged by is like, what do I really, really want? There's what I think I want, what I think I should want based on societal programming, business goals, etc. But like, what do I really want? And like taking the time to just sit with that question and listen, be like, what do I really want? Do I want an experience? Do I want a vacation? Do I want to feel fearless? Do I want to what is it that my soul is really calling for right now?
I think the things that we truly want are emotional.
Yeah.
They're feelings.
Yeah.
Right. What you ask somebody, well, what do you want from them? I want $1 million. Okay, but if you had $1 million in your hand, are you suddenly a different person? Are you suddenly what's changed? Nothing unless you spend it. Right? Put it in the bank, nothing's changed.
Right.
Right? You can point at, you can open your statement and go, oh, look at all the zeros. But nothing else about your life or about you as a person has changed. What you really want is the freedom that $1 million buys you.
Yeah.
So what if because I want $1 million because I want to buy this particular property on the beach. What if nothing else changed, but you just had an opportunity to rent a house for the same money you're paying wherever you're living now. That happens to be on the beach. You don't need the $1 million, but you've got what you really want. Right? So when we start asking that question, we need to break it down. You got to go, so, okay, I want $1 million, but why? What does it give me? If I had it in my hand, what does it change? That's part of it. I think ultimately we all, and you and I have talked about this before, I think we all really just want to feel better today than we felt yesterday and a little better tomorrow than we feel today. And we just want to continue that cycle so that ultimately we feel great all the time. Circumstances around us don't have to influence that at all. We can decide simply to feel better than we do in the moment. And there's little tricks for doing that stuff, but it's all emotional stuff. It's all feelings. It's all about it's just how you want to feel.
I'm curious, what are you diving into in terms of the universe between your ears? What are you diving into? What are you questioning? What paradigm are you breaking apart, analyzing, and looking at right now? Recently?
The honest answer to that is we haven't got that far.
No, I know, but not like the show.
Well,
just in mindset, what are we taking on?
Well, my goal with the show, there's a couple of goals with the show. One is I belong to an Abraham Hicks meetup. For anybody that may not know, it's a law of attraction meetup. And we get together, and when you have, 10, 12, 15 people trying to have a conversation, it goes like this, right? It's all over the place. And so you'll hit on something that's really, really good, something that's really important, something that has some substance to it, but it's rare that you can spend any time really tearing into it. And so we're trying to do that with the show. And so we bring people on who have something to say in these areas, and everything ultimately comes out of your mind. And we talk to them about their experiences and the stuff that they've been through, and how did you get to be where you're at right now? Why are we talking? And we start having conversations, and it's not here's the 5 questions you sent to me. So question number 1 is this. So tell me about your book. Okay. Okay. And question. So now tell me about your podcast. Now tell me about your, we've had conversations that immediately go to just make an immediate 180 or 90-degree turn. And we spend 15 minutes talking about something that was interesting, got nothing to do with who this person is necessarily, or, so it's a conversation, but out of those conversations come the really good little nuggets.
Yeah.
And because, the pre-scripted, I can give it to you in my sleep kind of stuff. There's nothing new in there. There's nothing earth shattering in there. There's nothing that's likely to make anybody start scratching their head and go, yeah, I never thought of that. It only really comes out of the opportunity to go deep on some one little nuance of something somebody said, and dig into it. So that's the stuff that's really fun. That's the stuff that's satisfying. When you're finished with that conversation, you really feel like, man, that was good. And I want more.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to ask questions that get conversations and get answers that we want to get, my co-host, and hopefully in the process, it's things that the people listening or watching also want to ask. And so we've, we planned for kind of an hour time slot for these interviews, and only 1 or 2 in the first 10 or 12 that we've recorded. Only been 1 or 2 that have stayed within that time frame. They're all longer because you can't exhaust one of these subjects, in a few minutes.
Right. And
so we're learning from doing it. And I'm hearing them over and over and over again because I'm doing the production end of things, and that's how things sink in, and it's how I absorb things. Really, it's not so much that I'm doing practical application all the time, but I hear things over and over and over again, and I have to think about them, and they take root somehow.
Yeah.
So that's, in the meantime, hopefully we give some of the same stuff to people that are out there in the audience, and help them to change their own lives somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. Definitely are. You definitely are. And the questions you ask are brilliant. I loved them.
Thank you.
And then the other thing is, in terms of your personal focus of the universe between your ears and what you're taking on, what you're diving into, I'm curious, what have you been focusing on, the paradigm or the, thing that you've been diving into about your own possibility?
It's my theme for this year is step up. Like I said, I've been happy to sort of really just kind of bump through life, and what comes along, and I haven't had a really clear life plan. A lot of people have got, they're the next 20 years planned out for themselves. I just don't operate that way. But this year, my intention is just to play a bigger game, because that's what I did a couple of months back, and man, it changed.
Yeah.
So I just want to keep reminding myself to keep doing that and keep showing up in a bigger way than I would have, a week ago. And we'll see where it goes. So just want to have fun while I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about, playing a bigger game, stepping up, really like stepping up in life? Let's dive into that. Why step up? Why play a bigger game?
Because we all want more, right? We all want to be happier than we are. We all want to be more abundant, more prosperous in every way, not just financially. I was going to say, in whatever way that means to you, but in every way. We all want it all. And the only way you get it all is to change who you are, right? If you want to get more than what you've been getting, you got to do something different. And it's that simple. What's the definition of insanity? Keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It's not going to change. We all have this. We're walking around with biological computers between our ears, and they run programs. Just like a mechanical computer, they run programs, and they're not exactly the same thing, because our those programs are being constantly reinforced and layers of paint laid over the top.
It's crazy.
But we can change the programming. Little by little, and you start wearing away some of those layers, changing some of those layers, and you change some of the data that the programs run on, and you start getting different results. And that's it. I'm not somebody who has to see, I got to have major results today or I'm not happy. Right? If I don't see it today, it's not working. I don't operate that way. I'm happy to see progress. Little steps or big steps, either one is great. Faster is better. I want it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But, I understand it won't be tomorrow, but in between here and there, there's stuff that I can appreciate. There's lessons that I can learn. There's things to feel good about.
I'm curious, because I know for me, I've been this go with the flow guy. Everything, it's going to happen in perfect time. I'm practically invulnerable, invincible, and immortal. Don't worry about it. I'm curious if, what your take is on urgency and bringing urgency to what you do, and just where you're at with that. And then I just want to check in with that.
Urgency is it depends on where it's coming from. Right? If you're feeling urgency because you're feeling desperation, it's not good.
Right.
You're unlikely to get the results that you're hoping to get. Right. You may actually just damage your cause.
Yep.
Right. If your urgency is coming out of excitement, if your urgency is coming out of inspiration, man, roll with it.
Yeah.
That's going to take you places. But it's the urgency. Emotion is the fuel for the things that we want, right? And it doesn't matter whether you put you put a desire out there, and it doesn't matter whether it's coming out of anger or love, right? Either one is a really strong emotion, and either one is going to bring results. They just probably won't be the same results.
Yeah.
Right. But strong emotion is a really good thing for creating, because we change our worlds, or we get really, really motivated to change something that we do, because something happened because of this habit that I have. And now it's really got me pissed off. Now I'm mad at myself for not doing what I should have done right?
Yeah.
That'll make things happen. That will make things happen. Whether it's exactly what you want or not, is another question.
Yeah.
But that strong emotion is the pedal that you get to push on, and you push that thing to the floor, and stuff's gonna change.
So the strong emotion, urgency is important. I was going to say, what I've been focusing on is nurturing, patient, persistent urgency. And I think that that's like a really strong combination, like nurturing is like life-giving, patient, not attached. Like I'm going to be freaking urgent. And then the persistent is like, it keeps going. It's consistent urgency, until it achieves the result. I think it's a great place to stand.
Yeah, it's the thing is, I keep drawing on Abraham Hicks stuff because that's the stuff that I'm most immersed in.
Mm-hmm.
But their thing is acting on inspiration, inspired action versus, I want this thing, I want to achieve this goal, so I have to do something. Mm-hmm. Right? That's probably not the perspective that you want to have on it when you're setting out to do something new. Abraham Lincoln is credited with saying that, if I had to chop down a tree in an hour, I would spend 50 minutes sharpening my axe. If you just rush out, you get a new idea to do something, and you just rush out and start doing it, well, no, I'm going to backtrack on what I was going to say. You get an idea like that and you feel excited about it, you start rushing out to work on it, you're going to make progress. You're going to see things happen. If you get an idea and it doesn't excite you, but you feel obligated, you feel like, this is really what I should be doing. And then you go and try and push that. Now you're pushing the boulder up the hill. It's going to be hard, and you're just going to run into obstacles. But when you're excited, when you got because what's the emotion behind it, right? You're not really in either direction. You're in the middle someplace and doing it because out of obligation. You don't have much emotion behind that. But if you're doing it because you're excited about an idea, you got some power behind it. So, yeah. I don't know. I have PTSD. Did I tell you that? Perpetual tangent story disorder. You can say something and I'll be like, oh, I got a great, this is a great story. And then 3 minutes later, what the hell was I talking about? Why was I talking about this? So.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Cool, man. So what other foundational principles have you either discovered or have been discovering about the universe between our ears and how we can equip our audience to be more effective, happy, loving?
Understand that wherever you're at in your life, you can change it. And you can change it overnight.
Yeah.
You have to make decisions. Right? It's okay to be wrong in a decision. It's not really wrong. It's just not maybe the better of the choice. But if you make a decision that sends you down a path that you don't really like, some shit comes out of it, probably an opportunity to learn something. So it's not necessarily a bad decision. But decisions are key. And a decision means not just, it's not just a desire for something.
No.
Right? It's deciding that things are going to be different. Just deciding that whatever your situation is, you're going to make a change somehow, some way.
It comes from the Latin "caedere" or "sedere," which is to cut off, right? To cut.
Yeah.
So you cut off possibility, you cut off other options, and you decide, you commit one singular focus.
Yeah. And, if it's a big life decision, you really have to understand that what's going to happen is that you're going to give the order to burn the boats. Right? Burn the way back.
Yeah.
you're stuck. You have no option but to move forward and see what that brings you. When people try to wait for all the lights to be green going down the road before they take off, they don't go anywhere.
Nope.
Because it never happens.
Nope.
I've got a friend who has great ideas for businesses and stuff, and incredibly creative, but she just never wants to pull the trigger.
Sounds like she needs a coach.
Oh man, other people around her will be like, yeah, let's do it. I can do this. And we're waiting because she's the one who came up with the idea. Just say yes and we're ready to go. Won't do it. And I don't know why. She won't. You can't steal second base with your foot on first. There's got to be a little bit of risk. There's got to be a little bit of vulnerability. It's got to be a little bit of anxiety involved in progress, in growth, we don't know what the hell's happening. What's coming? You make a decision. You don't know what's going to happen. You may think you do, and you may be right most of the time, but that one time out of 10, something's going to happen different.
Yeah.
So we don't truly know. So, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. How do you create more flow to handle the things that come in your life? Difficulties, challenges. How do you show up with flow, in flow?
I've been consuming this stuff since I was a teenager. These different ideas. My mother was forever seeking the answer, but she wanted the pill, the magic pill. And so when she found things that would have benefited her, but required her to take responsibility, then she put that down and kept on looking. But in the meantime, she would be reading something and she'd share it with me, and that built a fire inside of me to want to learn more. This stuff is interesting, and so I just kept consuming this stuff for a long time, just because it was cool ideas to think about, so I have this stuff sort of ingrained in my mind already, so that like when I lost the job that you talk about in the opening, that it didn't send me nuts. It was just like, all right, well, I wasn't expecting that. Right. They could have done that in a little more classy way than what they did, and woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yeah. But here we are. So now what? So I had a choice of just turn and stare at the hole of the blackness and turmoil and depression. I could have gone that direction, but I don't like being there. So put your feet up for a week or two. Take a vacation. You don't have to worry about it today. You only got that phone call an hour ago. What are you going to do? Yeah. Just move forward. So that's kind of when stuff comes along. I'm blessed, I guess, and then I don't spend a lot of time beating myself up over something. I don't spend a lot of time just focusing on, oh man, I don't have any money. What am I going to do? The bills are, when I'm in that situation, that those thoughts are there, but I, recognize them. Yeah. Okay. I can't change it in this moment. So what else can I look at? And then if you do that, you just don't have the stress level. You don't have the anxiety. Stuff is going to happen. Life is going to take a dump on you, and it's going to happen more than once.
Yes. We
get to decide what to do with that information. We can stick our heads in the sand and hope that it'll just go away. We can take action on it and fix it, which may or may not be helpful. Or you can think about, how do I want to feel about this? And that's the the ideal thing is if we can get to a point where we can be the observer of our own thoughts as we're thinking them, right? Which it's a tricky thing just to even get your head around. But if you can get close to that point, man, you can change your life, because you don't just react to stuff, right? And it's not, somebody cuts you off in traffic and you react, and you go to work and you're all angry, and then a week later you think back and go, well, I could have reacted differently to that. The idea is if you're watching it happen as it happens, then the you that's experiencing it can choose in the moment how you react in a conscious way.
Yeah.
And when you get there, life gets a lot easier. Life gets a lot easier. And things that used to bother you just don't. And the things that do bother you become smaller and smaller. Right. So, and I kind of I'm kind of wired where big stuff happens, man. It happens. People die, accidents happen, life brings you crap. But the bigger things don't tend to bother me so much anyway, just because I have that mindset about it. It's the little things that, annoy me.
And you don't notice. You don't
it's, that plate of spaghetti. This is a pasta restaurant, and they bring me cold pasta. There's no excuse for that, So I can get all wound up about it and grind my teeth over. How hard is it to to bring it when it comes out of the pot?
Yeah.
All you're doing is cooking it up and throwing some sauce on it and delivering it. Why isn't it hot? It should be steaming.
Yeah.
Those little things are the things that get under my skin.
Well, here's the thing. I think they're so small that it's almost like, unless we're so hyper vigilant and present to notice the smallest things, they get into the subconscious. They get the annoyance. That sucked. Oh well, and like you move on, but like you didn't actually clear the negative emotion. It's like, oh, that sucked. They should be doing something else, and you're still hanging on to it. Someone changes the subject, and it's like it didn't get let go. It's still being held on to. Like 5 minutes later in the conversation, it might come back up again. Yeah, man, maybe. I can't believe that they brought out my spaghetti cold. Blah blah blah, and then it just keeps going, keeps festering.
Yeah.
Versus, like I got a flat tire. I don't know. It was like 3 months ago, and I was sitting there. I was like changing the tire, and I was like, I could really be pissed off about this flat tire, but I'm going to take an Instagram video and say, still the best day ever, right? Still the best day ever.
You made a choice.
Right. But here's the thing. It's like flat tire is like flat tire. Most people are confronted by that, but I'm like flat tire opportunity, a big opportunity to turn it into something that feeds me, that fuels me, that empowers me. Versus the little small things, it can be difficult to consistently, continually, perseveringly make that choice and feel proud about myself and acknowledge myself and be aware of the tiny little things. It's a lot easier, I've noticed, to make a big thing that didn't go right, like make it smooth that out, make it be grateful. And I can usually do it a lot with other people too, right? If I notice someone else who's complaining, I'm like hyper aware of that.
It's so much easier to see other people's stuff.
Yeah, but when it comes to my own micro stuff or relationships or just feelings that pop up, it's like, damn, it's hard.
Yeah, can be. Yeah, but that's that gets back to what I was saying is we're always working towards being objective observers of what's going on, so that we can choose in the moment in a conscious way how to react to it.
I highly recommend reading The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. For everyone listening. It's such an amazing book to be present, to be aware, to be the conscious observer rather than the just set of reactions.
Yeah.
Man, beautiful.
That's it.
Beautiful.
Solved every problem in the world right there.
There we go. We're done. Where's our awards,
Shut
Tim?
it all down.
Where are the awards? Where's the celebration ceremony?
We're not supposed to want that, Chris. We're supposed to just be happy that we did it.
I love it.
Damn human experience.
Right? What is this? This is back. I was set up to fail.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I think one of the things that I have sort of come to decide is that people we get frustrated easily sometimes because we want stuff and we want it to happen now. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason for that, I think we're supposed to want it to happen now because I think what's going on is that we're all a piece of source, right? Source energy, and we're just somehow having a physical experience.
Yeah.
And our conscious awareness has been sort of turned off to everything but what we're physically experiencing, but what's going on this plane. But there's a piece of us that's unconscious that still is fully connected to that source energy. Yes. And if you're source, there's no waiting for anything.
Just is.
You just, there it is. You're just creating, right? And so I think we've got that little piece of us somewhere that's not conscious. We can't see it. That just is like, I know that this should be coming today. I shouldn't have to wait on this.
Yeah.
Where's my Corvette?
Right.
So that's what I think is going on.
Powerful.
So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just a piece of who we are as energy beings that there's no getting around it. And for that reason, I think there's no benefit in beating yourself up or anybody else up over the idea.
So there's no point in complaining. There's no point in dreading about it or whatever. Right? Negative. Okay, throw that out. Now, how do we accelerate? How do we receive? How do we be? How do we expand? How do we become that? So, how do we do that?
I don't know.
It's remembering that we are God, remembering that we are consciousness, infinite consciousness, remembering that we are infinitely powerful, and there's that piece inside of us. What is it that best and most quickly awakens in the highest and best good for all? That consciousness.
If you can do tests. You can do. There's a Pam Grout and E Squared. Phenomenal book.
Okay.
And there's I think 9 tests that she has, and I think it's chapter by chapter. Starting off, and the whole idea is you're somebody who's questioning this reality of, is there something outside? Is there source? Is there God? Is there whatever label you want to use that is looking out for us, that is willing to give us what we want, that is all powerful, all of these things. And so she's got these tests that you can do, real simple stuff. And you start out really, really small. If you don't believe, start out really small and just say, hey, I want to, in the next, you got 72 hours, I want to see a purple butterfly. I want to see a mechanical butterfly. And then you let it go and you go about your life. Chances are really good that you're going to see you're going to see it in some way, shape, or form. Right? It might be a car painted like a butterfly.
Right.
You go to the mall and you see these guys throwing these mechanical birds around that fly, why not a butterfly that does the exact same thing? So you can test these ideas. And I think little baby steps in that way. If I'm a skeptic, but I'm a hopeful skeptic, I want these things to be true, but I'm not buying it just because you tell me. Right. I want to see it in my life. So give me a way to test it. And if you get some positive results in your testing, you're going to get excited.
Yeah.
You're going to want more. You're going to want, okay, what else can I do? Right? And you're going to start to believe more and more and more that you have this capacity to change your world. Right. And it's just, unfortunately, it's not like taking a college course and you come out the other side and here's your diploma and now you can do it all. Right. There's damn few people who really truly have it all.
Right.
But that's why we're here is to learn. And that's the fun part of it. People don't realize that because we don't stop to appreciate it and look at it. But it's the stuff that you pick up that if you look at it, you get excited. You start smiling. Maybe it makes you laugh, whatever, and you just feel better. You start standing taller. But that's how you get to that place where your things are not bothering you, and you just. It's a confidence that you don't think about, right? That everything's all right. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not supposed to know what's going to happen. And you can't know what's going to happen. So you can make the choice to worry about it or not. Right? And if you're not worried about it, then things get easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
It's one of these ideas that's super simple, but there's always layers, and if you want to dive deep, you can go really, really deep. But in simple language, figure out what you want, set that desire out there, and don't worry about it.
Yep.
Go do something else.
100%.
Wait and see what comes back.
Beautiful. I love it, man. I love it. So we're beginning to wrap up here, and we want to know what are the final takeaways that we want our audience receiving from this interview. What's the new reality that they get to step into after this interview?
What do you want it to be? I'm gonna go back to that. You are creating it.
Yeah.
Right now. Decide what you want it to be. That's it. Decide what you want it to be, and it's going to start moving in that direction. You may not get exactly what you think you want, but you are going to get something closer than what you're getting today.
Yeah.
So it's like time is going to pass. What do you want to, regardless of whether you try or not, you might as well try.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Give it a shot. Worst thing that happens, people say no. You don't got to do stupid stuff, but, it's stupid subjective too. So what works for you works for you. And that's another thing is I am really, really more and more coming to just understand that we all have our own realities. We all have our own beliefs. We're all right. We are all correct. Whatever we believe is our realities because it's our universe.
Yeah.
And we may talk with somebody else or listen to somebody else or read something from somebody else who's presenting a different perspective on that concept. And we might want to incorporate some of that because we like the way it sounds. But ultimately, whatever we believe, that's it, man. So if you don't like it, change what you believe.
Amen. Amen. Tim, how do people stay connected with you, brother?
A couple of ways. The podcast is universepodcast.com. We launch on Monday.
Sweet.
Your episode is going to be January 29th, I believe. And so it's we're launching with 3 on this Monday, the 15th. Okay. And then 1 a week every Monday after that.
Cool.
So there's that. Please come and listen, subscribe. If you think you have something to say, you want to be on it, there's a forum there. Let us know. Outside of that, timcstar.com, stars with 1 R. And I've got mindsetmissionary.com, which is about this is not coaching exactly, but I'll leave it with that label. It's close enough. If you think you want to work with me, you can go there and fill out a form. We'll have a little short call to see whether you like what I have to say, I like what you have to say, and go from there.
Awesome, man. Tim, you're a rock star. Keep up the amazing work. Looking forward to an epic 2018 with you, man.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be fun.
Yes, it is. It already is.
We'll step up together.
Yes. Stepping up even more. I don't know how.
I'm not holding your hand.
I don't. It's perfect.
People will talk.
I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know what that expansion of capacity looks like, and the light and the gifts that we bring to the world.
It's not our business.
And
the universe is going to deliver that for you.
It's going to be fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, Tim. Well, we will see you very soon. Have the best day ever. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Awesome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tim Starr. I just feel like I could just go crazy at a like a wrestling match or a UFC fight. I'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Starr. You know, like, blah. Just like, it's easy to do it with that. Anywho, hope you're having the best day ever. We're going to take a quick couple-minute break here to stop this 4-hour portion of the 12-hour marathon. That's right, we're 2/3 of the way done, peeps. And we're going to be running through the finish line, so hang on tight. Be your greatest possible self. And know that you are loved, you are enough, you are capable, you are worthy, and we're just getting started. So tune back in a couple minutes from now. Mr. Kyle Lipton is going to be diving deep. Look at this. Embody your deepest truth. Live your mission. And share yourself fully. Let's go. I love you. Send in lots of love and prosperity and great vibes to you. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you. See you soon.